right, what's happening, everybody? It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with my review for Coming to America. All right, now I know by the time this comes out, it's March 4th, 2021. The movie drops March 5th, 2021. So I will say this movie will have some, possibly not a lot, maybe all spoilers. You're just going to get some shit. It is what it is. But before I go into anything else, I need to answer the overall question. Did I like this movie? It was all right. Wasn't great. Wasn't bad. It's all right. Now, I watched this movie also thinking, will you like the movie? And here's what I mean by you. I know there's a certain culture that people who were fans of the first Coming to America, who were already hesitant when it came to the second one. Just the announcement alone of them doing a sequel this far away, 30 years. Had there been a sequel in the 90s, I think it'd have been more accepted. Had, even a couple of years after the first, I think that'd have been more accepted. But again, the hesitation for many people already like, yo, this is 30 years, what are you doing? And so when you see the trailer, how do they sell the movie on the trailer? They show you people coming back, characters coming back from the original, the barbers in the barbershop, which by all standards, shouldn't they be dead if you remember the first one? Like, yo, they was hella old in the shop then. I mean, they hella older, but like, they should be whatever. But they bring some of these characters back, and I get it. You want to give the nostalgia along with the current. I know also it's the game of, maybe there are people who haven't seen the first. 9 times out of 10, you're going to watch the original Coming to America before you watch the sequel. So then you add all these people in it. You get Rick Ross in it, Michael Blackson, Wesley Snipes, Kiki Lane, who's phenomenal, Jermaine Fowler, Lou Nell, Rodney Perry, Leslie Jones. Colin Jost plays one of the Duke's grandsons. He plays one of the Duke's grandsons and nephew. So he's still a racist of sorts. He even has a line in a movie where his character interacts with Jermaine Fowler's legit Lavelle Johnston character trying to get a gig. And Lavelle is calling him out on his bullshit, basically. And he's like, yo, I bet you did blackface before. And Colin Jost says, I was blueface over blackface. I was Will Smith's Aladdin. There's certain jokes that hit. There's certain things that are like, okay, I get what you're doing. There's a part where they talk about the Nazis are back and they dress like Best Buy Geek Squad. We see so much. And again, it opens up similar to that of the original film. It's not the exact same. Again, remember when people heard the rating was changed from R to PG-13, people already were kind of hesitant, which I still don't get in many regards. And when people hear that and they think it just changes the entire quality of a film, and it doesn't. R is only the number of times fuck is said, or the amount of times of violence, or amount of blood, total runtime and things like that. It's not because of the overall context of the movie. It's certain little things you can take out, because nowadays we're hearing this hard PG-13. I digress. Opens up, and I say that because it doesn't open up the exact same way where we see Akeem getting woke up in the first movie, and the Rose Bearers, and Oha, who is back, shouts out to Paul Bates, and happy birthday, Your Highness, in the very first one, and then him having sex with the royal bathers, and the royal penis is clean, Your Highness. Doesn't start out that way. But what it does start out is you have Garcelle Bouveau, who was one of the original Rose Bearers, come back to lead the new generation of Rose Bearers, who walk flowers into the room of Akeem and Lisa, who are together, woken up by their 3 daughters now, saying happy 30th anniversary. 30 years from the film. I try to find a reason for me why a lot of this was done. I think sometimes I feel like the movie gets heavy-handed. And when I say heavy-handed, I mean, yo, let's put all these cameos in here. Let's throw everybody in here. The budget for this film to have all of these people in it must have been astronomical. Or people were like, yo, I'm a part of this. I want to do this. Dikembe Mutombo's in it. Salt and Pepper's in it. Gladys Knight's in it. It's just like, what? You have so many people in this film. But when it comes to the story is, as we've seen, Jermaine Fowler's Lavelle Johnston is the illegitimate son, if you will, of Prince Akeem. And Akeem at first is like, how the hell is that possible? Because the only person, he never sold his royal oats in America. Remember, that was the goal for his father sent him to sow your royal oats. He never did it. He supposedly has only been with Lisa in America right? So how does he have a kid outside America? We do a flashback that shows the night they were in the bar, where they were meeting all the women, where Akeem and Semmi were in the bar, where we get the I was Joan of Arc in my former life. You know, yo, I'm almost single. My man's on death row. You know, all that. And my name is Peaches, and I'm the best. All them, right? We find out there's a scene that happens later. They make a scene happen later where they're hanging out. Semmi meets a woman and got a other friend, which is Leslie Jones. They go back to their apartment, Semmi and Akeem's old dirty apartment in Queens. Leslie Jones's character gets Akeem high off contact smoke, blowing weed, and she fucks Akeem. Right? Henceforth, Lavelle comes later. James Earl Jones is in it. And again, King Jaffe Jafar, ruler of Zamunda, who was on his deathbed. We've seen it in the previews. You know eventually he's going to die. You see it happen, but I think the dope thing is he wants to see his own funeral. So they dress Jaffe Jafar up like he has died, put him in a coffin like he has died, stand the coffin up and have the funeral, and have everybody speak at the funeral. And then after the celebration at the funeral, again, he dies during the moment. You kind of knew it was foreshadowing in a sense. I know why Craig Brewer and them had to do this. Because again, you felt like if you didn't give enough nostalgia, people would pull away from it. But what about the fact if you gave too much nostalgia? I literally believe, I feel like they literally just dropped the first movie into the second. Yeah, the Daryl and Soul Glow part, I don't think those were in there. I don't remember if I missed them. But everything else is there, and it's fine. There's a McDowell's now in Zamunda, and now they have the McStuffins. Yeah, the McStuffins. John Amos is back as Cleo McDowell. There is a line he actually has when it comes to Akeem later in the film where he talks about, I always felt that the queen, your mother, the late great Madge Sinclair, was the wise one out of everybody. Fair. The story overall is about Lavelle taking his place as the heir to the throne of Zamunda because he's the son, right? But Kiki Lane's character is his oldest daughter, and she has been training her entire life to take the throne. And then when her estranged brother comes in, now she's put on the back burner because Akeem believes in tradition. Now, of course, again, like the first movie, tradition. It's tradition. It's tradition. Lisa gets a point where she's like, yo, I thought you were the king. You make rules. You change things. Traditions always do and will change. There's so much. It's the movie in itself, and I get the evolution of it. Like I said, I had some moments I laughed my ass off. Shout out to Tiana Taylor. Vanessa Bell Calloway's Imani Aziz, she is back. You know, hop on one leg hop on one leg and bark like a dog. She is still doing that 30 years later. That is a beautiful callback in it. Again, there's certain things that work that like, okay, I get that. Like, she's never been released from that. She's a loyal citizen of Zamunda. But like I said, when you bring the barbers back, you bring the reverend back, Arsenio Hall's reverend again, these people should be technically dead by the time. I get the characters, but it's just like if we're following in line with it, you have it where Lavelle is supposed to take the throne, and he's being taught to be a royal, but he has a barber, Muzambi, and she, drops little gems in his ear about basically just be your own royal, be who you are, be the dude from Queens in Zamunda. You know what I'm saying? And so, throughout this process, he's falling in love with her, and again, he's still learning to take over the throne. While his sister, eventually, Kiki Lane's character eventually helps. Also, Wesley Snipes is Wesley Snipes. You put this man in a role where he gets to be comedic and have fun, you can tell he's excelling. We all know and love Wesley Snipes as an action star. Everybody will always put Blade up top. But again, Passenger 57, The Art of War, U.S. Marshal, so many more. He gets to shine. He is General Aziz. He is the brother of Imani. And at one point after the wedding, he even tells Akeem, thank you for releasing my sister from her curse. Again, you acknowledge certain things. You have his generals, Michael Blackson, Rick Ross, One of his sons is Rotimi. His daughter is Tiana Taylor, who they want to be betrothed to Jermaine Fowler's character. But again, Jermaine Fowler don't want that. He like, yo, she cold, she dope. But does she have her own mind? She's just like Imani Z. Whatever you like, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to be. All of those things. And again, it's so much like you drop the movie in and have history repeat itself at the same time. I know this may sound like I'm going all over the place, but there are moments where you're like, yo, this is great, but then you have to remind it to yourself, you're like, did you need to do this? Did you really have to keep doing all? Did you have to give it? Did we have to see, even as we saw in trailers, him wearing, Prince Akeem wearing the jacket, the hat and everything with the pins from the first film? Did we need that? No. We knew he was going back. He could put on other clothes. I don't think he needed specifically that. Again, you're the king of a nation. There's certain things I just didn't, you would think things evolve over time. And the way the acting of that is that they treated Zamunda in a sense when it comes to America, with the king putting back on his same clothes and certain things, as if Zamunda is cut off from the world like Wakanda is in the Marvel comics. And I don't think that's the case. Again, Akeem's bride is from New York. So it's so much that I really don't understand. There's some dope dance numbers. Again, new dances this time, phenomenal, amazing. But one of the biggest things, there are like two things that I want to just wrap this up, because I can keep going, because I could talk about this for almost an hour and a half, and I don't know if it would make people unsure. This has always been keeping it 100 with y'all. I love the first Coming to America. I grew up on movies. I grew up on Eddie in the 80s. Coming to America, Trading Places, all these other films, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, etc., etc. So when I hear a sequel, depending on the time frame, after the original, I'm like, cool. But I hear a sequel to Coming to America 30 years later, I'm like, I'm skeptical. But I'm just like everybody else. But then I watch it and I'm like, all right, y'all finna drop all this nostalgia in here. I've seen trailers. I already know I'm getting a lot of nostalgia. Oh, you're dropping in the whole movie. Damn near the whole first movie. While trying to push the second movie. Because in the process of trying to drop the first movie in, it stalls the story of the second movie. I can't tell you if you should enjoy this or not, because you have to watch it for yourself. I'm not going to be one of them dudes do movie reviews and be a pundit and a critic and all this shit and say, yo, you exactly got to see this movie because of this reason, that reason. Yo, trust me, you're missing out. This is going to be one of those films in a very different situation. I might have said that before. But this one is one you're going to have to make for your own self. You make your own decision of if you like it or not. See the movie, of course. See the movie, watch it. But you're going to have to think whether you like it for yourself. Were you cool with the blending of the old and the new to the level they did? Again, we all knew it was going to happen. That is not the case. We all knew stuff from the first movie was going to be in the second. The trailer showed us, and if you had common sense thinking about it, you're like, all right, it makes sense. But to the level they do it. And then sometimes there's some overdone stuff that's overdone. There's characters that just go beyond the deep end, like, yo, you don't need to be this way. Like, I get what your character is, but like it's going too far. But I digress. Give me your thoughts, your expectations, hopes and dreams, etc. and more down in those comments below. And while you are here on this video, like it, subscribe, click on the notification bell. This video, I'm trying to be different than everybody else because I ain't finna be like, yo, the last is just amazing from top to bottom, or this shit is terrible. I'm letting you know there's a lot of reasons you're going to probably like, or love, or hate this movie. Do that, all right? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, J-A-Y. You should know how to spell Washington. Check out Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Myself and Winston A. Marshall get you caught up in the world of pop culture, entertainment, nerd news, sports, politics, a whole lot more from a blurred perspective, and we are unapologetically black, all right? Holla at y'all later. Take care. I'm out. Bye.